फवाज भाई, yeah. Imagine you're teaching maths to your students and your sum, for instance, is a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. And a very annoying boy from the last bench stands up and asks, "Sir, what if I say that a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square?" And again, from the first bench of your class, a girl raises her hand. When you say yes, she stands up and asks, "Sir, what if I sum a plus b inside the brackets itself and make the square of the sum?" How would you react? Another scenario is you are teaching them science and about sources of energy. A girl stands up and asks, "Ma'am, what if I start using lunar power like solar power?" And in an English class where one of your students stands up and says, "Ma'am, I have written a poem on robots," how would you react? What would be your reaction? Robots. A little girl from grade 5 is asking you, "What if I do my homework on my tab?" What if your students ask you more creative questions like this? Would you get annoyed? What if your students come up with innovation? What if you are that different kind of a teacher that you always wanted to be? What if your teaching style is different from others? What if your questions are unique? What if you do things like this? What if you do this? What if you do it this way? What if? What if? What if? So many questions, right? Well, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Arif Pasha from Buruj Realization. On this wonderful day, I warmly welcome you all for this amazing online training program on questions with a theme called "Questions Are the New Answers." We see a phenomenal response from you all with the registrations, and we have participants from corners of the world. This is so exciting. Well, so without any further delay, let's embark our journey in pursuit of a beautiful question. Let me ask you all one thing. What do you think the importance of questioning is? Is questioning so important in today's fast-changing world? How the power of inquiry can help you? How it has been helping people at large, from businessmen to corporates, from schools to universities, from entrepreneurs to social change makers. So let's begin our training program. Questions are the new answers. But before we move on, let us get a briefing about what is it all about. Number one, what would be the objective of this training program? The objective is to encourage teachers to promote questioning and reward questioning. And what is the outcome we are expecting? We are expecting that the teachers, students, academicians, educationists, individuals coming up with creative questions as they are the new answers. Well, now let's ponder upon the importance of questioning. What do you all think is the importance of questioning? Well, in most of the fields today, they are showing keen interest in questioning as it is a tool which brings out creativity and innovation, challenging the existing system and process. You might have come across many companies or institutions often begin with a question. It is a well-known fact that Google, as described by its chairman, is a company that runs on questions. And business stars such as the late Steve Jobs of Apple and Amazon's Jeff Bezos made their mark by questioning everything. When we spoke to the educators, we found a genuine interest in the subject. Many teachers acknowledge it's critically important that students be able to formulate and ask good questions. Some of them also realize that this skill is apt to be even more important in the future as complexity increases and change accelerates. Yet for some reason, questioning isn't taught in most schools, nor is it rewarded, but only memorized answers are. Indeed, on some level, we must know, as the school teacher knows, that questions are important and that we should be paying more attention to them, especially the meaningful ones. Scientists, meanwhile, have been great proponents of questioning. With Einstein, among the most vocal champions, he was asking smart questions from age 4. When he wondered why the compass pointed north. And he also reckoned in one of his interviews that if he had an hour to solve a problem and his life depended on it, he would spend the first 55 minutes making sure he was answering the right question. Indeed, we come out of the womb questioning, noted the small schools movement pioneer Deborah Mayer, and also a recent study was found out that the average 4-year-old British girl asks her poor mom 390 questions a day, and even the boys that age aren't far behind. Well, now, if questioning is so important like breathing, then why isn't it encouraged or rewarded? And then slowly what happens is children stop asking questions for the rest of their lives as instinctively, as imaginatively, or as freely as they do, unless there is somebody who is an exception. Once I heard from my colleague, HOD of Science Department, Red Camel International School, that why we don't encourage our kids to ask questions which Google can't answer. Wow, isn't it interesting? We don't often ask such questions. They are not the kind of queries typically typed into the Google search box. While it could be said that ours is a golden age of questioning, with all the online resources now available for getting instant answers, it's reasonable to assume people are asking more questions than ever before. That distinction would be based purely on volume, not necessarily on the quality of thoughtfulness of the questions being asked. Indeed, Google guesses what we are asking before we are 3 words into typing it. Well, in our training program, we would be encouraging questions that Google can't answer. So are you all ready to ask questions to Google which it cannot answer, or it cannot have a wild guess like what is going to be the next word of your question? Well, overall, questioning is more important today than it was yesterday, and will be even more important tomorrow. Why? In helping us figure out what matters, where opportunity lies, and how to get there. Well, in this world, we are all hungry for better answers. But first, we need to learn how to ask the right questions. Well, a book by Warren Berger, A More Beautiful Question, gave us the answer to our question that if we do an online training program on questioning, You might see many references from the book in our training. Well, he starts his book with an amazing true life story of Van Phillips, who began asking a question: if they can put a man on the moon, why can't they make a decent food? And when I searched for his name on Google, it was written Van Phillips and in brackets, inventor. What did he invent? So to know more about his and his inventions, let's ponder about him and let's see what he has invented. So with all these inventions which came after he started questioning, if they can put a man on the moon, why can't they make a decent food? What did he actually do to the question in his mind about them? He replaced all the questions regarding them to him. So now is the time that we actually replace the pronoun they with I. As you could see the presentation or the PPT or the slide here, it says they with I. So when we replace ourselves, the they with I, that's when you start getting the right answers. So how can we replace the pronoun they with I as teachers, educationists, academicians? Let's move on further. Now, what actually can a question do? A question, it can lead to opening an institution based on only questions. And that institute is Right Question Institute, founded by Dan Rothstein along with his colleague Lou Santana, and is a small, fascinating non-profit group formed in order to try to advance the teaching of questioning skills. When he says that question produces the light bulb effect. In that institute, the students are instructed to think and brainstorm using only questions. They start with a divergent what if speculation and then gradually use their own questions. Can we encourage our students solve problems with the help of questioning? Can we guide them towards better questioning? Can we come up with ideas and strategies where our students are free to question? There are case studies which says that teachers go into defensive mode when students start asking them questions. Why do we do it? Because, as Sir Ken Robinson has observed, in our culture, not to know is to be at fault socially. And moreover, if you are a teacher, then the expectations are very high. The students, parents, management, everybody starts expecting that we should know everything. Keeping this in mind, we get into defensiveness that I know it all. Now, it's the time that we start reframing our questions and changing our approach towards the challenges arising in our teaching proficiency. The biggest question during my teaching tenure was how will I make the 10th graders perform well in their exams, especially the boys. I had so many questions like why aren't they listening to whatever I say? What is wrong with them? What kind of an upbringing the school have had on them? Why they don't understand the importance of education, etc. I'm sure many of us would have gone through this question, but after a while when I approached the question and changed the tone of the way I asked question to what if I teach them this way? What if I come up with a game? What if I divide them into teams? Bingo! Changing the approach towards the question gave solutions to me, and I was awarded the best teacher for that year. Let's see a small video as to what a question can do. Okay, let me see how it goes.